Shall we start, Farooq? Sharina, Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Yeah,
Sharina, yes, start. Sharina, let the people.
Okay.
Not going on?
Yeah, we're going to start.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon from Dubai, everyone. This is Saeed Asif Zaman, your host. Welcome to the Alif Technologies e-learning series. You can know more about us on our website. You can visit our website and LinkedIn page and Facebook page. I'm the CEO and co-partner of Alif Technologies. Our today's topic, as you all know, that is raising capital during the economic crisis. This webinar explore the futuristic phenomena of security token offering STOs on blockchain.
Okay, camera is other.
Blockchain, sorry to interruption. The economic turmoil followed by the COVID-19 pandemic and the global lockdown has brought serious challenges to the investors and the fundraisers. The idea of issuing digital securities using the blockchain technology than a remote concept has become a efficient, viable solution in this situation. In this webinar, you will learn more about the security token offering, a blockchain platform for digital financial assets, their legacy and regulatory framework, and how being investor or capital seeker, you can benefit from it. Today's our guests are Mr. Iqbal Dawood, President of Pakistan Business Council Dubai, Dr. Kaisar Anis, President of Pakistan Business and Professional Council Abu Dhabi, and then the speakers are Ms. Farha Kospi, Chief Executive CEO of Labwan IBFC, Sareen Leo, Manager Research, Labwan IBFC, and Dr. Farooq Habib, who's co-founder of Alif Technologies. So we will start to you, Dr. Farooq, and then we'll be starting with the procedures of from the guest. To you, Dr. Farooq.
Okay, Jazakumullahu khairan, and thank you so much. Again, I would like to welcome everyone. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and good afternoon from Dubai. Actually, it's afternoon in Dubai, so that's why I'm saying good afternoon. But I hope that because we have different participants from different parts of the world, so it may not be appropriate, but I'm saying welcome to everyone. Now. As Mr. Asif has already introduced the theme of this webinar, and I think that it is a very timely and very appropriate appropriate topic given the economic conditions and also the COVID-19 conditions. We can see that it is very important to discuss that how businesses can raise funds, and how people who have access of funds can basically utilize the digital platforms and also the digital ways of investing funds. So without further ado, I would like to basically invite Mr. Iqbal Dawood to actually start with the opening remarks. Inshallah, he would be talking about economic crisis, COVID-19, and businesses.
Let me introduce me about Mr. Iqbal Dawood. He's a seasoned businessman having experience of running various businesses for the last 45 years. He's a founder, member, and the current president of Pakistan Business Council Dubai, which works under Dubai Chamber. He has been actively involved in various bodies like former president Dubai Auto Zone Association, vice president Pakistan, World Women Organization Middle East. Currently, he's running businesses in UAE, Japan, Kenya, Uganda, and Pakistan. Are you there, Mr. Iqbal? Mr. Iqbal Dawood? Mr. Iqbal Dawood? I think for some reasons it's not there. We will request. Yes, Mr.
It is mute.
It's fine. Mr. Iqbal Dawood, are you there?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, to you, sir.
No, actually it is mute. Our voice and camera both is mute.
Okay, can you? Yeah, we can hear your voice, but we cannot see your picture.
Okay, no, because it is mute, I am unable to open it. Anyway.
1 minute. We'll ask. Sharina, can you help out?
Can you try to open now?
Yes.
Yeah, it's fine. We can see you.
Yes.
Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Iqbal sir.
Wa alaikum salam. First of all, I thank you to the Alif Technologies for putting forward this event. COVID-19 has hit the world drastically, with the number of cases totaling about 18 million and the deaths close to 700,000. It's no doubt an alarming time that has driven us to explore the futuristic phenomena of the security token offering. The impact of the coronavirus is being felt by all the businesses across the globe. The impact, movement restriction and lack of social interaction has created a steep fall in the demand, which has led the organization and the employees across the globe to brace themselves during these unprecedented times. However, prolonged disruption may cut the capacity of the businesses to survive and the economy to recover. Disruption may cut the capacity. Hence, it is very important to understand the severity of the situation and work proactively. We are looking forward to see further brainstorming sessions and this type of event. And really, I'm very grateful to Alif Technologies to provide us such a chance. And it will explore the possibilities to reduce the times and how to reduce the losses. So we had already arranged some webinars. So this is also series of this kind. And I'm very grateful to Mr. Asif and their colleagues. And I'm requesting to please continue. We all are together and asking the question session or whatever it is. So I'm again grateful to you. So please start your session.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Iqbal Saab. Thanks a lot. And now I would like to welcome Syed Kaisar Anis Saab, having more than 42 years of experience as a financial consultant and public accountant. He's actively involved in various professional bodies, founding president and current president of Pakistan Business Professional Council Abu Dhabi, which is work under Abu Dhabi Chamber and Commerce and Industries. He served as the nominating committee chairman of AmCham, American Business Council, since its inception, 1996. He's a former member of Abu Dhabi Council of Economic Development. He is a chartered accountant by profession, managing director and partner in Elliott Management Consulting and Elliott Hadi Shahid Chartered Accountants. Welcome, sir. Dr. Kaisar? Sir, are you there?
Dr. Farooq Habib, you can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, sir.
Okay. And my friend Mohammad Iqbal Dawood Saab, and Madam Serena and Madam Farah. And I thank you for inviting, special thanks to Alif Technology for inviting and participating this the futuristic world which is going to happen the way you are addressing it. Just to introduce first about Pakistan Business Professional Council, this was established 2004 and we are completing more than 16 years now. It was inaugurated by General Pervez Musharraf here. And our patron is Sheikh Naihan bin Mubarak, the famous, the minister here, very supportive, and chairman is Ambassador Ghulam Dastagir Saab. So we have a membership of more than 1,000 since inception and a very strong organization. We work together with Dubai Business Council always, and we are very close with other 30 business councils. That is our strength. I am really appreciative to Asif Saab for all the time talking about future, especially blockchain. He has done before many conferences on blockchain and on the cryptocurrency. And this is the future, you rightly have identified it. And you must have read yesterday or day before yesterday how the Dubai is thinking, because Dubai is a futuristic country, city, or UAE is a futuristic country. And they are very advanced and always talking in advance, and they are looking for crowd financing or crowd investment on the projects. You must have aware or not, and I can send you the details of that. And they are giving special facility on that account. Now, with this security token offering or digital offerings, this is the future here. And with the future coming, and in a way, I will say, the coronavirus, which has invaded the world in the March or earlier March, and which has impacted now nearly 20 million people, is already impacted on that, and so many deaths, has a different style of work. There are more on the in-house. Before, the people think that they have to go to office and work. Now they can work from their home, and that is why you can see that working from the home, they are coming in a different investments. And your this IPO or your security token offering, which you're saying, is very going to be future of that, and people can invest in this digitally. And it can access any part of the world from all the 5 continents. You can do that. And this is the way forward, which I foresee doing. And I feel that this Luan, what you call Labuan, is a right time. I know we have carried out one conference in Dubai from them 2 years or 1.5 years ago there, and they are very active. And this organization I know, and they can play a good role in the attracting investment and raising capital in the businesses. When you say raising capital, I'm talking about the whole world. I'm talking now. I'm not talking about only United Arab Emirates. I'm talking the investment attraction in a different, and the technology is the best area where you can invest. The logistic is the second best area which you can invest. And the third important investment is a health sector and education sector. Both are going technologized before. Like I am as a part of a Pakistan school here where 2,500 students are studying. We are doing online teaching them for last 6 months now. And I feel it that we will do for coming years also. Now we are expanding it to 10,000 students, which we cannot do it before. We are in the process of that. And because of this futuristic way of, or because of Corona, you can say. So Corona has impacted the whole world and bring it together, family become together. Now, because of this, we possibly are more active. We are putting many hours in the work than what we used to do that. Now, even when you go home, you are working. Before is not like that. So my best wishes to you, Pakistan Business Professional Council, always there to support RF technology or any sort of item, and your company, Labuan, this thing anytime. Thank you very much for inviting, and my best wishes for this conference or webinar. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kesaranis. Thanks a lot. And we'll start our proceeding with our first speaker, Dr. Farooq Habib, who is my partner. He's a co-founder and managing director of Alif Technology. Previously, he have worked as a researcher and advisor at ISRA. It is an institution under Central Bank of Malaysia. He's an expert of fintech, finance, and Islamic law. He has been advising various fintech companies. He holds a PhD in Islamic finance from Malaysia, masters in banking and finance from UK, and other masters in economics. Welcome, Dr. Farooq Habib.
Thank you so much for the nice introduction. So without further ado, I would like to basically start my presentation. Let me just turn on my screen share, and then I will move on to my slides. So I hope that like everybody can see my screen. So Mr. Asif, can you confirm?
Yes, it's apparent.
Okay.
Fine.
Okay, perfect. So let me just start that many people actually are confused about this phenomena of STO security token offering. And I think that many people think that like it's a scam of cryptocurrencies. But in these slides, I'm trying to clear that what is the technology behind it and how security tokens are regulated. But I might not be going into the details because like other respected panelists will be shedding lights on this issue. However, I will be focusing more on a snapshot of the whole industry market, and then trying to clear some specific terminologies and ideas and concepts, because I think that it is important that when we are moving forward and furthering our discussion, so that like we are familiar with those terminologies and the concepts. So first of all, let me just introduce the basic technology behind STOs or even ICOs or whatever it is. Actually, it is blockchain platform. And what is blockchain? Blockchain is a decentralized digital ledger technology to record anything of value. When I say anything of value, it is very important to see that like when it is actually almost everything, or actually anything you would like to basically put on blockchain, and then the blockchain will become a digital ledger to actually record the transactions or the exchanges of that thing, or which has some value, which has commercial or business value for any purpose. And blockchain, although like it has been introduced by the inception of Bitcoin in 2009, but after that it has been evolved to become a general platform, because initially, although it was used and utilized by Bitcoin, but then in 2009, after 2009, many people started experimenting other cryptocurrencies. And in 2013 and 14, people realized that this blockchain technology can be used for other purposes, and we can actually detach them from the cryptocurrencies specifically. And then afterwards, people have started experimenting in business labs and also incubators that or research institutions, that how we can develop products, financial products on blockchain. And with the inception of smart contracts, which is basically an algorithm or a software which can run on blockchain, you can almost do anything you would like on blockchain, and then you can utilize the main features of blockchain. Why blockchain is very important? Because I think because of its main features. For example, like it's a decentralized distributed ledger. When I say decentralized, it means that there is no center point for this technology or for this digital ledger. And because of that, it has so much importance, and it has so much strength in it, because decentralization means that that the technology can basically can be run and managed in a decentralized manner through a network of different computers or digital devices. And because of that, it has so much security, because like there is no one point or a central point to be attacked. So a hacker actually finds it very difficult to actually manipulate the data or hack the digital ledger. And that's why it is highly secured, trusted, and safe. And then immutability is another feature which has basically emerged from the decentralization, because when I say decentralization, so many computers are connected with the network, and they update the ledger in real time. Or even like if there is a lag, so we can almost consider that it is almost in real time. So when the digital ledger is updated by different nodes through a network, then it is very difficult to manipulate the data, and also it is very difficult to make any changes once they are already done. So when there is a transaction being done, then it is very difficult to reverse that transaction or actually manipulate it. So immutability is basically is a very strong feature of blockchain. And since it is distributed among the network, and anyone can basically download the blockchain ledger of any specific asset. So transparency is also very strong there, because it is readily available for audit, for traceability, and to regulatory authorities. And all these features are combined in this blockchain technology in a very efficient way, because if you look at the algorithms and consensus, you would see that like this, all these tasks or all these objectives are being achieved in a very efficient manner. So although like people would say like there are different protocols, like for example, proof of work, which is a very resource consuming protocol. But again, POS and other protocols have been developed. Or I think there are almost like more than 20 protocols already there, which basically are not very resource hungry. And because of that, if you can see that the transactions are actually become very efficient, because it's basically a network of peer-to-peer transactions, or peer-to-peer payment system, if you would like to call it, or even like a peer-to-peer exchange system. So because of that, there is a very least requirement of intermediaries. And when you do not have so many intermediaries, and then you are directly contracting and dealing with different parties, then the system basically provides you a very efficient manner of exchanging things of value. Now, blockchain actually, what it has done is actually it has taught us that we can basically tokenize everything or anything we want. So what is asset tokenization? It is a method that converts rights to an asset into a digital token. So for example, like if I would like to buy something and it is on blockchain, I do not have to physically buy that thing and keep the possession of that thing under my control. What I can do is basically simply, if that thing is already blockchainized, if I may call it, then I can simply buy the tokens, and then those tokens actually will represent my rights of ownership and also my legal responsibilities. And then the tokens actually, these tokens of assets refers to the process of issuing a blockchain token, specifically a security token, because I'm talking about an underlying asset over there. So then the value and ownership of that of that asset will be digitally represented by the token on blockchain. So this is and then that token is easily tradable on the blockchain platform. So that is basically the idea behind asset tokenization. With that, what you can see that like it is very close to the concept of securitization, but there is a twist of modernization and also technology driven approach. So it is same as like it is an alternative to classical capital fundings as performed today by VCs, private equities and banks, but in a different way. It can be considered that it is a modern and technology driven phenomena. And now there are different ways of asset tokenization. I basically initially when I was giving an introduction, I used the term ICO, initial coin offering. So let's basically define all these terminologies so that like we have a very clear concept and idea that what are these things and what are these phenomena and how they can be utilized. So for example, like we start with the ICO, initial coin offering. It is a process in which a company sells a predefined number of digital tokens directly to the public in an exchange of against cryptocurrencies or fiat currencies. So this is ICOs. But the problem with ICOs were that like they were unregulated because most of the tokens were issued in the form of utility token. And for a utility token does not actually have an underlying asset, if you would like to call it. It has a utility which can be delivered by the system in the future. Because of that, it was very difficult for the regulators to regulate it because there are no laws for such a utility token. And also it was very difficult for the regulators also to actually protect the interest of the customers and clients and ordinary people. So then what happened, we saw that ICOs were very famous in 2015, 16 and 17 was the boom of ICOs. Everybody was trying to do an ICO and collecting money from people. But then the regulators and also also the ordinary people and investors, they have realized that at the end of the day, it is a very risky bet because they might not get anything at all against their investment, because it is only a utility which is basically promised to them in the future. And then it is very difficult to also for them to value the utility itself. So then afterwards, people, when they got matured in this arena, they think that like we have to regularize it and we have to have a proper market for that. We have to have proper legal framework. And then we moved from ICOs to security token offering, which is STOs. And STO is a sale of tokens with features comparable to normal securities, fully regulated and approved within at least one jurisdiction. And the tokens offered through this process are mainly securities or represent a right or interest in the ownership of a tradable asset. So there is an underlying asset now we are talking about. So whether be it a commodity, be it a company shares, be it a bond, or be it a financial security, or you can put anything which a project which basically can deliver a tangible benefit, and it can be relevant to the real economic activity there. So STOs are different from ICOs in the sense that ICOs were unregulated, STOs are regulated. ICOs were mainly focused on delivering utility, and STOs are basically based on an underlying asset which has some value there. And then we have initial exchange offering, and in an initial exchange offering is something which is between ICO and STO. That is my understanding. And then an IEO is exclusively conducted on a platform of a crypto exchange. And IEOs are administered by the crypto exchange on behalf of the issuing company, which seeks to raise funds with its newly issued tokens. So in a sense, you can say they are semi-regulated, or even if you do not want to call it regulated, but we can say that like there are some due diligence and checks and balances over there, due to that that the exchanges are careful that what they are onboarding. So whether they are onboarding an ICO or whether they are onboarding an STO, they have to do their own due diligence, and they have to see whether the underlying project is viable or not. So IEOs is something, it's a, by the way, IEOs can be in the form of ICO and STO both, because IEO is something that you are offering to the public through an exchange. So it does not have to be an STO only or an ICO only. So it can be both. Both type of tokens are available on IA in the form of IEOs. And then the benefits, now focusing on the STOs only, we can see that like STOs can, as compared to normal IPOs, or if normal bonds or normal financial securities, provide greater liquidity. So in terms of that, like if you see that like private securities are typically illiquid assets, for example, a piece of art can be efficiently tokenized and listed at a global exchange. So it can be done, and then buyers and the participants of the market will be able to trade or exchange those tokens in a very efficient manner in a free environment. So because of that, it has greater liquidity, and then it also provides faster and cheaper transactions, because through the use of a smart contract, what you can do is like most of the processes at the exchange can be automated. This automation can reduce administrative burden, lengthy processes, and intermediaries. Subsequently, it will save cost and time. And then, as I have already mentioned, that blockchain platform provides a greater transparency and disclosure. So this feature can also can be benefited from in the process of STOs. So the token holders' rights and responsibilities can be directly embedded onto the token along immutable record of ownership, and ultimately this will increase the quality of transparency and disclosure. And then another feature is more accessibility, that STOs provide more accessibilities in the sense that STO exchanges are operated 24/7. They are not closed because they are digital platforms and globally available. Because of that, if you consider that there is more liquidity over there, then the minimum investment period will also be shortened as well. And another thing is like minimum investment caps and small fractions can ensure enhanced accessibility, so that like you can actually cater the market which is not captured at the moment by traditional markets. So now, if you look at the current market snapshot, you would see that like in first 10 months of 2019, over 380 tokens STOs were offered and issued, and they have raised $4.1 billion in total only in the 10 months of 2019. And total security STO market cap is actually more than 1 billion. Only in the first 10 months right now. And another thing is like market cap monthly change, if you see, is like 5% or more than 5% every month. And then the total May 2020 trading volume was more than which was almost like $1 million. I am talking about specifically on STOs. I am not considering at this these figures are not including as ICOs and IEOs. And then trading volume monthly change, you can see, is like 134%, which is very big, because what I can see is like more and more people are investing in STOs, and more people are trying to raise money through STOs now. Now, if you look at the chart, like chart which is given here, So token offering developments, if you see that in 2019, so there were a total number of 380 tokens offered, and total volume was like 4.11 billion. And although like we can see, if you look at the bar graph as well, you can see that the number of STOs is decreasing, but there is one thing is which has to be noted, that these are actually regulated STOs. Now there are more regulations are coming, and because of that, number of STOs are decreasing. What is meant by that is that unregulated or weak hands are basically being shaken. And you can see that like previously in 2000 until 2018 June, ICOs were very famous, but after that ICOs have been frowned upon by different jurisdictions and regulators, and because of that we see that now only quality STOs are coming into the market. So if you look at the global corporates globally, I mean in different jurisdictions, so these are the noticeable STOs which were done by those corporations. So Austrian government did a tokenization of a government bond, sovereign bond, and then Banco Santander also they have done the tokenization of bond. Similarly, Bank of China, and they also did a bond tokenization of bond. Deutsche Bank, the World Bank, they have done bonds in a tokenized form completely. And then there were some other other assets which were being tokenized. For example, Imar has done a referral and loyalty platform tokenization, which shows that like it's not only about bonds, loans, or shares, but you can actually tokenize different things, which hold some commercial and business value. So, and then if you see like which were the biggest STOs since 2017 and until 2019. So EOS has done a very big, is number one until now. It has raised like $4.1 billion. And then the focus of the STO was on blockchain infrastructure for decentralized applications. So, and then Telegram, Bitfinex, and you can see that there are other, just to mention, Tezos actually also done a very good STO. And luckily, we have among our panelists, Tezos representative, Mr. Walid. Unfortunately, what happened is that like previously, it was difficult for us to get his time, but he was generous enough to participate now in our webinar. And I think that there will be so many questions. He's very technologically expert, and also very much into the market, so he might be able to give his contribution and insights as a panelist. So I deeply welcome also Mr. Walid as a panelist. And then moving on, we have leading countries for STO. So like some countries were very fast in building up a legal framework and jurisdictions, regulatory framework, and also an environment to accommodate this futuristic phenomena. So in that, you can see that there is a comparison between 2018 and 2019. Cayman Island was very famous until 2018, but now Hong Kong is taking a very good lead. But it doesn't mean that Cayman Island is not a good jurisdiction. I think that there are so many good jurisdictions in the arena where we can launch STOs. For example, like British Virgin Island, BVI, and Cayman Island are very famous, and they raised a huge amount of capital. But USA, Singapore, and Hong Kong are gaining some tractions in terms of the numbers of STOs. And then we have Switzerland, UK also leading as a global hub for crypto offering spheres. And Estonia, Lithuania were, and Malta and Canada and Switzerland, they were also always there as a financial hub, and they are also catering the needs of the STO issuers and also people looking for STO investments. With that, actually, I would like to thank you all for listening. And if you have any question or comments, please feel free to ask. And then if I haven't exceeded my time, then we can accommodate some questions. But then we will start with our other guests. But definitely, if you have questions, you can basically put it in the questions section. And also later we will also have an open discussion as well. So if you have further questions, basically you can ask there as well at the end of the presentations. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Farooq. Therefore, there are some 2-3 questions in quickly. If you have 2-3 minutes, can you go through that one? There's how STOs govern and how frauds can be avoided. What regulatory framework is available?
So, okay, this is actually, as we know that we have so many people burnt their hands when they were dealing with ICOs, because ICOs were very toxic in the sense that there was no regulation, and scams were reaping at that time that sneak into the phenomena. So many people have observed that ICOs are actually very risky, in that sense that they were not regulated, right? So the need of the STOs or the regulated ICOs, if I can say, were already there. So many jurisdictions and regulatory authorities and also market whistleblowers, they were already there and looking at this phenomena. So they were very ready to come up with a solution that, like, we have to regularize this. Although, like, I cannot say that, like, the jurisdictions which I showed in my slides, they have completed or they have 100% perfect regulations, because it's still an ongoing phenomena that regulations are being improved. So with that phenomena, I think that many frauds and the scams and also fraudulent schemes have been curtailed down. That's why you can see that, like, the number of STOs also have gone down tremendously. So with proper listing, with proper licensing, with proper follow of regulations, of course, we can basically able to curtail down the number of chances that there is a fraudulent scheme.
Thank you very much, Dr. Farooq. And there are some questions better to answer at the end of the session. And now I would like to welcome Ms. Farah Jafar Cosby. She's a CEO of Labwan IBFC, and you know, she's very well-known person in Labwan if you have been in Malaysia. And Labwan IBFC Incorporated serves as a jurisdiction official market development agency. Farah, a seasoned strategic communication, market development, and financial service professional, bringing with her more than 25 years of experience in wholesale and financial services, putting her in a good state to position and develop the Labwan IBFC as an Asia's go mid-shore financial intermediary center, formerly attached to Asian Institute of Finance and Bursa Malaysia, Malaysian National Stock Exchange. She served in numerous, senior market development and strategic communication roles. Farah also managed the Association of Stock Broking Companies Malaysia as an industry-led hobby group, representing Malaysian stockbrokers. Farah has LLB honors from Sheffield University, UK. Welcome, Ms. Farah, to this our webinar. So, to you, Ms. Farah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for everyone listening in, and we really appreciate all the attention. Thank you, Dr. Farooq, for your fantastic backgrounder. It was, even for us, for me personally, very interesting. Thank you very much. What we're going to do is, I have my colleague Serene here. She is our research manager. She'll be going through the slides specifically with regards to what is Labuan and how can Labuan assist in any digital revolution that you might be interested in, but also specifically with regards to raising capital and STO issuance. Basically, just to give you some small backgrounder, I represent, or we represent, the market development entity for the official Malaysian regulator of Labuan International Business and Financial Center, Labuan Financial Services Authority. And Labuan Financial Services Authority is a statutory body under the Malaysian Ministry of Finance. So really our job is, it's non-commercial. What we do is we try to share more information about how Labuan can assist you moving forward, and our digital journey so far. So Serene, maybe if you want to take us through, and then what will happen is we're happy to take any questions as we move along, and either that or at the panel. So thank you very much for your attention. We really look forward to sharing this with you. Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to introduce Ms. Serene. Ms. Serene Leo is a research manager at Labuan, you know, and she has been before with this, prior to joining Labuan IBSC, she has been attached to Labuan FSA, which is the regulatory authority, for more than 10 years and headed the business policy unit there. Prior hand-on experience as a regulator on policy formulation and international tax compliance. She has been provided. She has a deep understanding of financial solution, as well as solid foundation in promotion and marketing development initiatives by Labuan. To you, Sareen.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for the introductions, and really it's our pleasure to be here to share with the participants. Okay, basically in my presentation, I will share with you a quick update on the global developments and regulatory challenges on digital finance, and we will then focus on Labuan IBFC in specific. What are the jurisdictions that can offer to facilitate your digital business? Okay, I will then share on the screen on our slide. Can you see the slide? Is it good? Everything?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, sure. So, okay, I just want to take a quick run through on the key developments globally and the challenges that we face. And then before that, then we will then go to the Labuan IBFC in specific. So basically, if you can see, there are two aspects of digital finance. So first is the one that running these DLT adoptions in their business. So it's a digital service providers. And the other one is fintech, where we say the technology actually collapse the business processes to enable innovations in financial services. So on the global developments, if you can, last year, I think last year in Japan, the G20 summit, so FATF actually issued a rules for digital service providers and digital assets. So there is a side event after the G20 summit, we call it V20 summit. So a memorandum of understanding was actually then signed by a few countries where they are agreed to provide a globally unified clarity for digital assets. Then after that, there is an industry-led body, Global Digital Finance, was then also established to provide a global best practices for digital service providers. I'll touch on the second point on FATF travel rules in specific in the next slides. This is the rules that actually provide a governance rules for virtual asset service providers, as well as the transactions on virtual assets. Okay. Okay, so actually this year, G20 minister, finance minister and central bank governors actually they have a meeting, I think back in April or May. So basically they actually recognize that crypto assets do not pose material risk to financial stability, but they raise the issues with regards to investor protections, tax evasion, and most importantly is the money laundering and terrorist financing. So the key challenges actually for money laundering and terrorist financing is the challenges in tracking the transaction trails, especially when there is no same level playing field in specific jurisdiction, the operating jurisdiction, when they don't have a robust AML and CFT regulations. This in 2018, FATF actually issued a standard that is the so-called travel rules on virtual asset and virtual asset service providers. So the travel rules actually will then require informations to be exchanged on the originators and the beneficiaries of the virtual assets that they transfer on the transaction itself. So to put things simple, actually it's just like creating a shift system like what we have conventionally for the conventional financial system for digital transactions. Okay, that is the developments and the challenges that generally what is the industry facing. So I'll then really look into what Labuan IBFC can offer and then to facilitate your digital business. So before I go into IBFC, I just want to go through quickly about the Labuan Island itself. So Labuan is being part of Malaysia. So located in the east of Malaysia, Labuan is one of the 3 federal territories under the federal government. So if you look at the right-hand side in the small little box, the Labuan Island itself, the main economic drivers, there are 5 key sectors. One of it will be the international business and financial center. So the whole island is actually duty-free, including the port. So even the port registry for this Malaysian international ship registration will be the Labuan port. Okay. So yeah, if I look at the jurisdiction itself, so this year 2020 is our existence for 30 years. So Labuan IBFC was actually first set up by Malaysian government in 1990 to intermediate the cross-border trades and investments. So more than 70% of our players are actually Asian-based. So Labuan IBFC, we have our own regulatory and supervisory framework, as well as the tax rule. So it's really independent and dedicated to Labuan players. So the jurisdiction governing legislations, the governing legislation will actually pass through by the Malaysian Parliament and administered by a single authority, which is the Labuan Financial Services Authority. So like what Farah or CEO said, Labuan Financial Services Authority is a statutory body under the Ministry of Finance Malaysia. So although we have our own set of laws and regulation, there will be no regulatory arbitrage as the jurisdiction also subscribe to the same Malaysia AML CFT requirements, as well as any other international standards and best practices such as FATF, OECD, or even APG. So being part of Malaysia, there is actually a natural check and balance to ensure the jurisdiction actually remain robust and regulated and well regulated. So the key differences between Labuan IBFC and onshore Malaysia is that we are not dealing with retail market. So, but rather we are actually dealing in wholesale international business. So the jurisdiction is actually currency neutral, where I say currency neutral, meaning that the business, when you're carrying on the business, you can deal in any currency of your choice, be it like US dollar, Sing dollar, Pakistan rupee, or even UAE dirham. That is up to you. So in terms of the currency dealing. Okay. We will now then focus on what we can offer in terms of the digital solutions. So on digital finance, the ethos that we are taking is not via a sandbox approach. We don't have sandbox like what some other jurisdictions offer. Instead, we are leveraging on the existing legacy financial licenses to facilitate digital player. Meaning that the moment you are licensed, actually you will then operate in the actual market. Okay, technology will then be the underlying base that embedded into your business processes for the provisions of the digital services. So in Labuan IBFC itself, we has already digital toolbox. You can run a digital financial institution, a digital bank, insurtechs, or a digital service providers like issuance of the tokens, the money the tradings of the crypto. You can do all these under Labuan, and all of these will be licensed and regulated by the regulator. So our licenses are also possible to be stacked in order to create a more efficient business model. I will show you the possible stacking business operation later in the presentations. Okay, so this is the snapshot on our digital toolbox. Like what I mentioned, you can actually pick and mix the licenses to come up with the ideal business model that you wanted. For an example, if you wanted to issue a tokens and store in a digital wallet, then you will then later on, you can use that token in exchange for a goods or services. So the license, all you need here will be, if you look at the digital service providers column, you will need a digital token asset issuance license, plus a payment portal approval if you're going to have your own payment gateway. So one thing I wanted to highlight here is that, like what Dr. Farouk had mentioned, Labuan IBFC is the same. We are taking the position that we only like asset-backed token and not ICO. Okay. Just a little bit highlights on the numbers that we have for 2019. So we have 34 digital licenses as at 2019. So in 2019 alone, 28 digital licenses were approved, and majority are crypto trading and payment portal. So on STO issuances alone, 3 new licenses were issued last year. And we have 2 digital exchange that focus on primary and secondary listing and trading of digital assets. Okay, I will share with you the regulatory framework in Labuan. So if you look at the left, the governing legislations, so these are the 4 X highlighted in blue, I highlight in blue, are related to digital business. If you look at the top, the Labuan Financial Services and Securities Act, so that will be the licensing act that created the license. So, but if you would like to actually run your business in Sharia compliance form, that is possible. That will then govern under the Labuan Islamic Financial and Services Securities Act. So we have a dedicated legislations to govern Islamic digital finance if you would like to run it via Labuan. So meaning that you can run digital business in conventional and Sharia compliance form. And you look at the third legislation, Labuan Companies Act, there will be the legislations that provide for the structure setup, the Labuan Companies Incorporations. So on tax-related matters, we also have our own dedicated rules on tax, so which is the Labuan Business Activity Tax Act. So our tax framework is very, very simple. For digital business, meaning that you are actually running a trading business. So when you are running a trading business in Labuan, you will then tax 3%. And of course, you will then need to comply with economic substance rules in the island itself. So the economic substance in Labuan is simple. So it's depending on the activities that you are undertaking. Example, if you are issue a STO out of Labuan, you will need 2 staff, and to have spending, you have a local spending of 100,000 ringgit Malaysia in the island itself. So our substance approach is that we specify the minimum expectations that the regulator is expecting, and it's not the adequate approach where some of the jurisdiction is taking. So it's quite specific in a sense, like we specify the minimum substance that we are expecting. So if you look at the middle, so these are the key legacy licenses that create the digital business. As I mentioned, we're actually leveraging on the existing financial licenses that we have. You can see if you are focusing or if you want to run a business for the digital token or asset issuance, you will then need to be licensed as a credit token licensee. So if you want to run a digital securities dealer business, you will then license under securities licensee license. So on the right is the current financial license that we have, and on the left is actually the key digital business that we actually match along with our financial license. If you look at the top, the most right, so these are the key licenses and operational requirements that the regulator is expecting, where they're actually assessing your your applications for the licenses. So fit and proper and financial soundness, they will look at your expertise and experiences, ability of the management to run the business, and the solvency for you to actually to ensure the business sustainability. So due diligence is actually the client onboarding policy. For an example, you will need maybe enhanced due diligence for investors from high-risk jurisdiction, political exposure person, and this is really, really part of the AML requirements. Then you will need internal policy. For an example, I'm giving you like the policy on how you charge your clients, how you outline the fees to ensure transparency, there is no hidden cost, that kind of thing. Client asset management is really like, because you have to have a segregations of account. You cannot mix your own assets together with these client assets, processes for client money withdrawal, or fungibility policy for crypto to fiat, fiat to crypto, that kind of thing. Governance and conduct is definitely a things that you need, like ensure fair dealing, investor protection when you are doing crypto trading, that kind of thing. What kind of measure they will actually put in place, the stop loss measure, that kind of thing. So this is fundamentally, this is the 6 criteria that you must have in place for you to run a digital business. Based on the earlier slide, to put things simple, I'm giving you additional examples on how the licensing criteria that the regulator will be assessed, as well as the cost of the license and the turnover time for you to actually obtain the license for you to actually to operate your business. So I'm taking STO issuance as an example. First thing first, you will need a white paper for issuance. So how you want to run the business, your policy, your onboarding policy, your AML, everything must be outlined in the white paper. And remember, the STO that we're going to issue must be asset-backed and not ICO. So the regulator will then assess based on your business plan, as well as the criteria that you put in place. The most important is how you want to ensure fair dealing, investor protections, governance, fit and proper, that is the basic. So in terms of the paid up capital, so we are looking at 500,000 ringgit, Malaysia. So it's equivalent to about 120, 130 US dollar. Okay. If you look at STO, the license fee is 13,000 US dollar a year. Of course, when you look at the middle, for you to avail to the Labuan IBFC tax framework that I shared earlier, which is also the key operational requirements, you will need to have 2 staff and minimum business spend of 100,000 in the island. So this is also one of the key requirements for the regulator to actually, is a liaison office for the regulator to supervise and regulate your business. So anything, this is the liaison office to the regulator. And of course, you need to comply with all the AML CFT rules. Like what I say, on the bottom, if you can see the client charter and statutory processing fees, the normal processing will take normally 21 working days. So if you want to run the business, if you really need to run the business as soon as possible, we have a fast track options, which is 5 working days, but this will be subject to the acceptance of the regulator. And of course, there will be an additional fees of 1,002 US dollar to be charged, okay? Okay, this is an example how you run a crypto exchange with token issuance via Labuan IBFC. So this is an example which I shared earlier, that you can have a combined licenses that you create a crypto exchange. You will need 2 types of license. One is the credit token, the other one is the money broking. So the credit token license will allow you to issue a token, which is a STO token, and the money broking license will then allow you to create a trading platform, the crypto token trading platform. You can actually, after you issue that token, you can list your token at your own platform and they are tradable. Okay, if you add on the most right, if you have your own payment gateway, you will then need the regulator approval. So this will be like an e-wallet for you to facilitate the industry trading account. So you will have your token issuance, you will have your platform for the token to be traded, as well as the payment gateway. So it's a whole ecosystem for you to run a Labuan crypto exchange via Labuan. So another examples there where we are giving, a Labuan digital bank. So digital bank is possible via Labuan. So you can come in via a commercial banking license or an investment banking license. So let's say you are already a bank somewhere, not in Labuan, you can come in as a full-fledged commercial digital bank. So otherwise, this can be done via an investment banking license. So the difference between the two is that an investment bank is not allowed to take deposit and may not be part of the SWIFT corresponding bank network. So a back-to-back business arrangement with the commercial bank will be needed to support this. Also, as part of the governance, we are suggesting that you might want to consider putting another layer of fund management license to run the fund management activities. So the funds that you receive from the client will then held in an escrow account that will be for governance purposes, which is a clear segregation of the client's money and the business. Okay. So before I end, so this is here we summarize the advantages or why you might want to consider Labuan as your domicile. So in short, Labuan IBFC, we provide a tax and currency neutral jurisdiction as well as its cost efficiency, create an idea base actually for a borderless digital entities. So most importantly, you actually operate within a very robust regulatory and supervisory platform, and you will have a facilitative regulator to actually sit with you, or even us, we can actually facilitate you before you put in your submission, official submissions to the licenses for your digital business. Okay, with this, I'll end my presentations and thank you.
Thank you very much, Sareen. Ms. Farah, do you want to add something on that one?
I think most of the information is there. I think what's important is to understand that as a jurisdiction, we're using legacy licenses in order to facilitate the digital needs. And that allows for no sandboxing. It allows for a real understanding of the business process. We accept that DLT technology, digital technology, is a business process. It is nothing different than a normal process. What is important is that the processes can be supervised and monitored by the regulator well, and that the potential license holders are of quality. So we are very keen to ensure that quality applications come in, first and foremost. Secondly, it's also important to understand that that is the reason we generally do not encourage ICOs, because the concern with that is that there's not enough transparency that might be available to us. And yeah, we look forward actually very much to welcoming an Islamic digital STO. Because so far we have had a lot of interest from China. Actually, the last couple of days, we have received our first half numbers for this year, for 2020, and the growth in the digital space has been tremendous. Unfortunately, for us, well, it's fortunate that there is growth, obviously. Even in this time of COVID, we are very blessed, alhamdulillah. The thing is also, we would like to see more representation from MENA, because from MENA, we expect to have more Islamic digital players. So far, we have a lot of East Asian digital players, which is fantastic. They are very intelligent, they are very clear, they understand how to use Labuan, but we really would like to encourage more Islamic fintech, Islamic STOs in Labuan. So anybody who's interested in that, please get in touch with us. We will try and facilitate it as much as we can. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Farah and Sareen, and it was an excellent presentation. And you know that there are very much opportunities and benefits going to Labuan for ease of doing business. I can understand. And now back to Dr. Farooq, and to you, Dr. Farooq.
Okay, thank you so much, Brother Asif, for giving back to me the podium. I think there were some very much interesting questions in the audience, and then I utilized that time to answer their questions in writing. But please feel free to have questions, and if you have any questions, or if something was not clear, so then I will be able to basically answer, and also our respected panelists also would be very much interested in answering any questions or clarify anything which was not clear. So please feel free to ask questions, because this is our time. And then I open the floor for all types of questions related to STOs, even ICOs. You can ask questions, of course, like for understanding that why it was not a good idea to have ICOs, but then STOs are getting popularity among the masses. So please feel free to do that. By the way, someone was asking me that, okay, what is the figure? What are the figures for IPOs, STOs, and ICOs? So let me just tell you that the number of IPOs in 2017 were 1,624, while ICOs were 718. And STOs were 15, because back in 2017, STOs were not very much famous because of the frenzy of ICOs. That's why ICOs were 718, but STOs were only 5. But if you see that in 2018, we saw that the boom of ICOs, like from 718, it went all the way to 2,517 ICOs, and IPOs were decreased. In the sense from last year in 2017, it was 1,624, but then afterwards it came down to 1,359. In terms of the STOs, in 2017, it was only 5, but in 2018, there were 35 STOs. And moving on to 2019, we saw from 35, the number of STOs went up all the way to 83. Initially, this was a previous report, but then in 2020, I have already shown that in my presentation that the number of STOs is already going up and up. And ICOs were coming down from 1,359 to 981 only. And if you look at the volume also, it is increasing in terms of STOs as compared to IPOs specifically, because I think that the phenomena of ICO is a temporary one, and it may not live for a longer time. But the real challenge which STOs will face is basically from the traditional market, which is IPOs. So, but I can see that STOs has already got a large chunk of the market from the IPOs, and gradually it is this phenomena is increasing by securing more and more market share time by time. Okay, there is one question basically, what is the banking platform running in Labuan? Does it have all conventional or Islamic banking products or over blockchain?
There is currently, thank you for the question. I saw it in the chat box actually.
Yes.
Currently there are no digital Islamic digital players in Labuan. This goes back to my original point earlier that we really would like to encourage it. Obviously, Labuan is, home to the world's first sukuk, and Malaysia is a huge player in Islamic finance. So the digital Islamic finance proposition, we believe, should rest with Labuan. At the moment, there is Islamic banking, there is Islamic insurance, takaful, everything in Labuan that is available. All the different financial services, all the different licenses are available in an Islamic format. That's why if you go back to the slides that we will share, that Serene shared with you and we will share with all the delegates later, is the fact that we have the Labuan Islamic Financial Services Securities Act, which means you could have an Islamic crypto exchange in Labuan. You could have an Islamic token. The only added layer of approval that will be required is that this application for this license will have to go through the Sharia Supervisory Council. We have a supervisory council that sits to decide the Sharia acceptability of license holders in Labuan. So that is the only additional aspect. However, if I'm not mistaken, they have already accepted that digital tokens and digital assets are Sharia compliant. So it's again about the process and understanding that everything that you can do in Labuan, number one, can be done digitally. Number two, can be done in an Islamic way. So in that instance, like for example, we have just recently, over the last 2 years, licensed primary and secondary exchanges. So these are digital asset exchanges, right? With own listing platforms and stuff like that. Now, there is nothing stopping us from also licensing an Islamic digital exchange. Not a crypto exchange or a money exchange, a crypto exchange, but a pure primary, secondary exchange. And it will be so fantastic to be able to license an entity like this, number one. Number two, provide a more financially inclusive access to capital markets. I mean, this is what the topic is here today, access to capital. And I think STOs and IEOs allow for a more cost-efficient, transparent access to capital. If you take that ethos and that philosophy and you put it in a jurisdiction that is Islamic friendly, that is Islamic compliant and digital friendly, then really what you have, and agnostic, like Serene said, agnostic with regards to currency. So you could have a board, let's say, that only deals in dirhams or Indonesian rupiah, depending on the market. And that would be possible in Labuan. So we are really very much looking forward to encouraging Islamic digital players to come to us as well. So yes, there is a banking platform. Yes, you can bank Islamically. Yes, you can have a digital Islamic bank in Labuan.
Okay,
Dr. Farooq, 1 minute. Dr. Hadi, are you there? You want to add something, Dr. Hadi? Yeah.
Yes.
Just let me introduce Dr. Hadi is a very seasoned businessman and consultant in UAE, and he's a very well-known personality internationally. So I would like to have your remarks on this, topic, please.
Asif, thank you very much. In fact, it's my pleasure to attend such a informative webinar. I fell short of saying seminar. We'll all have to adopt this situation. Lebanon is certainly providing such a great services, and we have been using their the free zone facilities. And the Islamic banking is so developed in the Malaysia and is so regulated, and particularly with the cryptocurrency and the exchanges. I think we all can really get a good benefit in raising funds through those channels by having them. First of all, they understand the Islamic banking. In most of the countries do not understand the Islamic banking from the top to bottom. They get stuck from somewhere. Yes, they all are trying to take a piece of the cake. But Malaysia has a very developed market and very developed institutions. The governments stand by to that. So it's a good initiative. I would encourage us, all of us, to utilize these facilities, which is very legal, and money is always short. So projects requires various fundings and facilities. The way Farah has explained, and the way Serene has taken it up, Dr. Farooq, it's commendable. Thank you very much for inviting me for the comments, Asif.
Thanks a lot. Now back to you, Dr. Farooq. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you so much. Before that, I would like to have the opportunity to also invite our panelist to share some thoughts. Walid Rasuli, he is from Tezos organization. and which is a platform, a blockchain platform, and also a very good security token offering platform. And also that Mr. Walid, as I mentioned that like previously he was not able to participate, but then he was basically willing to be a panelist, also to contribute in the webinar. So Brother Walid, if you are there, can you please share some thoughts?
Sure. Assalamu alaikum. Let me. Can you? I think you cannot see me. Hold on. I'm a little bit cautious. I always put a sticker on my webcam. So, assalamu alaikum, everyone. So, just to give you a couple of words about me, I'm the managing director of STOs in the Gulf region. So, in the Gulf region, particularly, we're doing a lot of project for mainly trying to making all the assets that are mostly illiquid, held by banks, held by a lot of asset owners, to try to make them more liquid by fractioning it, by techifying them. So there's a lot of advantage that Dr. Farouk mentioned, but there's a couple more that I think that is very important to add. First of all, when you start digitalizing, techifying assets, you suddenly remove friction for a lot of investors to invest in all geographies, which basically extend your investor reach. Obviously, you need to be regulatory conform, but still, you can really expand your reach. Secondly, with regards to investor, particularly, what happens with this type of investment is that, generally speaking, an investor, individual retail investor, has very little access to a lot of type of investment. Like let's take, for example, Series B type of startup. You, as a retail investor, you can never have access, or very here and there opportunistically have access to this type of investment. With this STO, you really expand the type of investment you can have. You can actually invest in retail real estate asset across the world. You can invest in, like I said, tech startup all across the world in different growth stage. So it really democratized investment. And there was a right now, for example, with Tezos, we are tokenizing a company who is a broker of movie films and selling it to different platforms. This type of investment is actually quite lucrative, above 20% ROI yield, and a regular investor who could never have access to it if it was through an investment banker. There would be a couple of investors, large investors, and they would buy up the company. Here, you can actually have access to it, and there's a couple of more advantage. For example, if you're a company, you want to sell part of your company. You start with selling 10% of it for whatever price, but that 10% allows you to have a price discovery on your company, because the token that you sell that represent this 10% will be traded in a secondary exchange, so that you would automatically have a price of your company. And if a year or two later you wanna raise another capital, you will be able to automatically kind of gauge how much your company is worth to be able to to do that. With regards to liquidity, this is the most tricky question that everybody asks, and I think that it's always the chicken and eggs issue, where any exchange will have a liquidity if you have enough good project coming to the exchange, and you need to have a lot of these. So to have liquidity, you would say, to have liquidity, you would need a lot of project that decides to raise fund through STO. But obviously these projects will be incentivized with a promise of liquidity. I think with regards to liquidity, we are about a year away from good liquidity offering in different exchanges. Right now, T0, for example, holds 90% of the volume in the world with digital securities. And the idea is really to have different exchanges in different jurisdiction, in different regulation, so that way with tradable securities, you can increase the liquidity and make this whole space more democratized. So that's about it.
Jazakumullahu khairan, and thank you so much. Really appreciate your thoughts and very insightful comments, actually. Really appreciate them and learned a lot from them. There is one interesting question, and I think that it would be the last question, because I think that we are going to we are coming up to the end of our session. So, but before that, I have this question, which is very interesting, that why is there so much concentration of companies, specifically in Labuan, regarding this STO rather than other states of Malaysia? And then the other part of the question is, what is the future of Islamic cryptocurrency right now in Malaysia?
So the thing about Labuan that we should try and make more clear is that while it is a jurisdiction within Malaysia, other states within Malaysia, so Malaysia is a conglomerate of states. It's 14 states, like the UAE has got different states, Ras Al Khaimah, Dubai, Abu Dhabi. It's quite similar. But what the Malaysian government has done is that they've taken Labuan aside and made it into and passed laws that apply only in Labuan, that deals in financial services. So the other states don't have these laws that apply to them. That's why the other states within Malaysia, let's say Penang or Terengganu or Sarawak, they don't have the same access to the laws. Okay, that's first to understand. Second thing to understand is that is why they don't have this accessibility. The second thing to understand is that in Malaysia, there are a few statutory bodies that deal in financial services. So you have the Central Bank of Malaysia, you have the Securities Commission of Malaysia. They deal with the domestic market, which means the domestic market is ring-fenced by the jurisdiction, and it's ring-fenced by the currency that you are able to trade in, i.e., if you become a token issuer, let's say, that is licensed, let's say, if it's possible, I'm not quite sure myself, by the Central Bank of Malaysia, you can only deal in ringgit, let's say. You know, and so it's limited by the domestic element. Labuan IBFC is not limited by the domestic element. It is limited only by what the law allows it to do. If I may go back a few years, we have been around for 30 years. 30 years ago, they set up Labuan. The government of Malaysia, I shouldn't say they, the government of Malaysia set up Labuan. And the reason they set up Labuan is to help Malaysian companies leave Malaysia. So we have a very international intermediation role. In the last 10 years, we have expanded it to more Asian-based users. So that's why we are a little bit more known. That's why we offer a little bit more esoteric solutions. But we are not limited by currency. We are not limited by legal system as well. So for example, your STO could be licensed in Labuan but using Dubai law. Okay? and you collect money in Dubai dirham, and you issue then out the crypto, the token, in whatever the tokenization is. I mean, to me, a token is just a value, a value mechanism. So yeah, so that's one thing. With regards to digital, sorry, the other bit of the question discusses.
That says that, like, what is the future of Islamic cryptocurrency in Malaysia?
In Malaysia, I am in no position to comment because that is the onshore jurisdiction. I'm very clear in that. With regards to Labuan, the future of Islamic crypto is what you, the market players, will come to us and we will facilitate. At the moment, as I said earlier, we do not have anything thus far. And we feel that as the world's leading Islamic jurisdiction, we should push this. And this is something that I am very personally keen to push. And I know that the regulators are also very keen because Labuan, don't forget, is the home to the world's first sukuk. Why can't we tokenize a sukuk in Labuan too, right? Already, I don't know if you realize this week there was a news piece from Bursa Malaysia. Bursa Malaysia's Labuan Exchange, the Labuan Financial Exchange, is working on the DLT technology to create transparency within the bond market. So the next push from there would be to tokenize the bond market. You see, so really all the pieces are coming together and we are here to say, come to us, we are here for you. We would like to help you make this mutual dream a reality. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I have a few thoughts to share, but or not specifically in Malaysia, because like Farah, she said that like she's offshore, I am also offshore to the mainland. But regarding Islamic cryptocurrency is actually a very good question, in the sense that like it is very interesting and exciting to know that initially we had fatwas from the Sharia scholars that it is not allowed in the Islamic law. But what happened is, like, since 2016, I have been promoting that we cannot have a blanket opinion on all the cryptocurrencies. First of all, just to give you a brief what is my opinion on that, like cryptocurrency is a misnomer for me, because not all tokens or crypto assets are currencies. Specifically, number one, they are not currencies in the sense that like they do not fulfill the economic definition of being a currency. And also from the Sharia perspective, they do not qualify as currencies. But what we can see is that that these are assets in tokenized form, number one. So then from the Sharia perspective, we have to see that how we treat those assets when they are in the tokenized form, and they have a different ruling. So like each and every crypto asset will warrant a separate ruling, in that sense that we cannot simply say that, okay, all the cryptocurrencies are halal, impermissible, or all the cryptocurrencies are haram, impermissible. So we have to actually look at them. They are just like shares, actually, if I can compare them with that we have Sharia screening methodologies for shares. So alhamdulillah, I was able to actually also develop a Sharia screening methodology for crypto assets, and I have done that as well. So in that sense, we can see that like whether you may call it Islamic crypto asset or Sharia compliant crypto asset, we can basically do that also. And I have been involved in so many projects where we issued a Sharia compliant crypto asset. And there are exchanges actually also seeking Sharia compliance in that sense that like they only would like to have Sharia compliant crypto assets, and also the ways of trading and doing STOs in that sense. So I think it's a very good phenomena. But whether or not a government will come up to say that, okay, we would like to have a cryptocurrency as our national currency, that's I think a matter of administration and also economic issues, and it also involves political issues. Although like many governments have already announced that they are going to have crypto national currency in the form of crypto assets or tokens, but and we have yet to see that, okay, when it is materialized.
Thank you very much, Dr. Farooq. And I would like to thank all our guests and speakers, Iqbal Daud Sahab, Mr. Iqbal Daud, Dr. Kaisar Anis, and our speaker, Ms. Farha and Ms. Sareen, and Dr. Farooq and Mr. Waleed. And a special thanks to Dr. Hadi for chipping in and giving his advice. And please stay tuned for our more, webinars on the related subjects. And I thanks to the Labwan team. They did an excellent presentation and about the Labwan, what the Labwan is doing in regards to raising the capitals and fund, and about the digitalization, this STOs and digital bank. And hopefully we'll see you again. Thanks a lot, and assalamu alaikum everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. We'll see the more investment from MENA for Islamic related to that. Thank you.
We will see more investment from Mr. Iqbal also. He's very much keen to invest.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
From our council. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good afternoon, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, very
Thank you
good.
so much.
Thank you.
Take care.